Hi everyone, it's Nicole and I'm here with another layout, and this is one that's kind of a little different because when I had gone to my weekend away back in April, this was the last layout that I was working on Sunday, and I just kind of hit sort of a wall that was just like I was just done. I mean, it was early in the morning. It was 8 o'clock. I could have probably gotten, a couple more layouts done, but I was just physically just done. And I just sat there for the rest of the morning till we left in the afternoon and just chatted and really packed up my stuff and didn't do anything else. So this was sitting with the page kits that needed to be, put together because, I knew if I put it anywhere else, I would not finish it. Now, this doesn't happen to me very often where I start a page and I don't finish it. I usually, when I start a project or a page or even a book, I finish what I start. I can't, very rarely, sometimes I'll have a couple things going on at the same time. For example, 2 books going on at the same time. But I usually, when I start something, I like to finish it. And the same thing with a scrapbook page. I start it, I finish it. Now I've seen myself put it away and go in the house, around the house and do some laundry or some things like that. But I typically like to finish what I start. And so that was sitting there with the pages to be done since April. So it's been bugging me. Every time I looked at it, I was like, oh. And I have to say, I wasn't a real big fan of it. I just didn't like how the gesso that I had was super thick. So it was really, really white on top of that wood grain. And it wasn't my favorite. So that was one of the reasons too why I couldn't finish it that day. So I'll tell you what I did way back in April. I put some white gesso in the background. Then I took a template and I took the Heidi Swap modeling paste in that teal or that mint. And I put some on the page. And then I did take some spray mist and I just put some on the background. Now, months later when I came back, I decided that I wanted to add some more. And this time I just sprayed it on some packaging and just added more color. I'm going to mount the photo on 2 blues, on a light blue and then a teal. And then I took all the scraps that were in that page kit and I just cut it into strips of like about an inch each, an inch and a half. Really didn't measure. And I thought where I didn't like the background so much, by doing that, by making a big mat, by using different pattern papers, I was going to be able to, cover up a lot of that white, and then maybe I was going to be, going to like it. Now, as you saw, I took the Distress ink in Evergreen Bow, and I'm going to ink the edges of all the pattern papers. Now, a lot of these are from the Amy Tangerine, I would say, Oh Happy Day, and it was all leftovers from other pages, and I kind of threw it in there and was trying to use it up. And the picture is actually of Caitlin when we had gone to Niagara Falls in 2013. We went to a wax museum and it was so much fun. We absolutely loved it. We didn't think we were going to love it as much as we did. So one of the characters as we were going around was Dorothy from Wizard of Oz. And Caitlin, when she was just a wee little girl, and I'm talking wee little girl, she was probably 1.5, and that kid was so funny because she wasn't scared of anything. Like, you'd think Wizard of Oz for a kid that was 1.5 would be kind of scary, there's witches, and no way. She absolutely loved that movie. She could recite entire passages of the movie. She absolutely would love it, and I can still see her in her little diaper and her gumboots, because that's what she would do. She would strip down to her diaper. She would not keep her clothes on, and then she would put her rubber boots on, and then she would just walk around the house. And as soon as that movie was off, she'd be like, put it on again. And I would have to put it on again. And she was able to talk quite a bit when she was very, very young. Like, she could make sentences at a very young age. I can still remember she was sick, so I brought her to the doctor, and she was about maybe 20 months old at that point. And he said to her, not expecting an answer because she was, quite little, he said, "So what's wrong with you today?" And she says, "I have diarrhea." And he said, "Oh my, that's a mighty big word for a little girl like you." Anyway, I don't know how I got off on that rabbit trail, but so she could talk quite a bit when she was younger. So she would recite everything from that movie, and absolutely loved it. And still now, as an adult, absolutely loves The Wizard of Oz, and it's still one of her favorite movies, and Dorothy is still one of her favorite characters, and she actually says that Dorothy is her hero. So that's what this page is going to be. It's going to be Dorothy, my hero. And in the journaling, which, yes, I've already done, is I talk about that, how she started watching The Wizard of Oz when she was super young, and that she would say that, still now to this day, that Dorothy's her hero. Now, one of the things that was in there was a ruler, and I thought that was so appropriate because I'm talking about her growing up with, the movie Wizard of Oz. So I'm going to cut it down in three. I think it was like 8 inches long, and I just cut it down in 3 different sizes, and I'm going to put it around the house, because I see the house there, around the page. And again, it just reminds me of her growing up. I'm going to put that house down because, of course, in The Wizard of Oz, a house falls on the witch, right? So, and so that's where, as soon as I saw the house in the embellishment clusters for this, I was like, perfect. And when I put this page kit together, I had no idea that I was going to do a page about Wizard of Oz with that page kit. And that happens all the time, that the embellishments totally go with the pictures that I decide to use for that page kit. And there was no way, there's no way that is planned, but it always seems to work out. So I'm going to do 4 clusters this time. I'm going to do one to the bottom left of the layout with that ruler and the house, and then that label. And a lot of this stuff was leftovers, like I said. So that tag that was at the bottom was already cut into. That's what was left over. At the top of the layout above the photo, the half circle, pink circle, that was used on, the other half was used on another layout, and I used the left or the rest of it on this layout. So it's nice to be able to use some leftovers like that when normally, it just gets thrown into a bucket and doesn't get used. So a lot of times I like to make some page kits with what is left over from previous pages that I had put together, and then as I'm finishing off a page, I put it in a container, and then make some page kits later on. I don't know if you saw there, but my arm was in, and it was like this big bruise. I had to go for a blood test last week, and yeah, I ended up having a big bruise there. So I usually don't bruise that bad, but this time around I bruised quite a bit. But it didn't hurt or anything. It's just, for some reason, it just bruised more than normally. I have some stickers there from Amy Tangerine that I'm going to do part of the title. So at the top of the layout, next to the pink circle and the little strip of stars, I'm going to put Wizard of Oz up there. And then next to the camera, I want to put Dorothy, my hero. Now, I spent so much time looking for aqua letters. Now, the ones that I have there didn't have a T. That's the only thing that was missing, was a T. So I'm going to spend quite a bit of time into my stash looking for the right letters to put there. So I finally find some letters. I believe those are from Simple Stories maybe. And I find they're a little wide, so I'm going to cut on either side of them, and I'm going to put Dorothy in those letters, and then I'll go back to the Amy Tangerine. I believe it's Amy Tangerine, and then I'll put My Hero so that it kind of brings in the letters from the top. Yeah, I had a bit of hard time finding all the letters. Even that one there is an F instead of an E. I'm going to go find a black marker, and I'm just going to extend the E on that sticker so that I can use those stickers, because I had no E's also. But so those are really well used, and normally you use the A's, right? One of the first things, and I don't know if you noticed, but I had a ton of A's left. But I'll see if you see there. I don't think I've used one A, which is kind of funny. I might have used one, but usually that's what you use first, but for some reason I have a whole bunch. Now I put the year at the bottom next to the house, and I decided that I wanted to add a little bit more black to the layout, so I'm going to outline all the pieces of pattern papers, and then I'm going to do my journaling. Now I just want to let you know that again, the days are just kind of melting into each other. It's been a little crazy around here. My son is doing his last few days of driving before he does his test. So 2 days this week we were out 3 hours a day getting him, to drive around and parking and all that stuff. So, and then so the days have just been kind of melting into each other. So I didn't even notice that today was Friday. And so right now it's 9:15, and I'm doing the voiceover to put this up today. So again, there is no pictures at the end of the video because it's dark now, and it's not a good time to take pictures. I usually take it upstairs in my craft room in front of the window so that I have a little bit of light. But I thought I would put this up, and we will talk to you on Monday. And I want to thank you again so much for watching. Bye.